Samuel, with all this in mind, this is, I mean, the kind of figures that Adam just relayed there, the stories that we mentioned in the introduction there, do you not think it's at least courteous of the government, of the state, to tell communities, to tell British people, their families and their children, oh, hi, guys, by the way, even if we don't ask you permission, we're just going to let you know out of courtesy that we're going to install a migrant hotel here?
I mean, with that said, I mean, yeah, I can understand people's frustration that they haven't been consulted and there hasn't been these conversations, and what could be used to, say, a tourist asset in their local communities is being used by the Home Office to house refugees and people who have come to this country. But with that said, I think we also do need to ensure that we safeguard and adequately protect the people who are, obviously, bear in mind, have no proper income, have no actual real place to go in this country. You know, they're incredibly vulnerable, with that said, and their safety also has to be protected. Look, I don't think that anybody, including myself in this, wants to see people holed up in hotels the whole time. I think that's completely inadequate. I think that's inadequate for communities, but I think that's also wholly inadequate for the people who have come to this country. There needs to be a complete reset as to how we look at supporting people in this who have come to this country. And that must look at housing, and that must also look at allowing people to work, to actually contribute, to not be holed up in these places.
I'm not sure what kind of message that sends to channel migrants, saying, come here, you get freebies, you'll get benefits. Oh, by the way, you can work as well whilst your asylum claim is processed. But in the meantime, do you not think that the government should be telling people when these hotels pop up?
I mean, look, I think, as I said, it's completely inadequate that this is the situation these people find themselves in. But what I would say as well, we have to look at, again, the safety.
OK,
but what about the safety of the girls?
No, of course.
Women and girls.
Here's a better question.
Why are we always just focused on the safety of the migrants and their human rights?
Girls matter more.
Rights matter too.
Girls matter more. There are residents that will... One second. There are girls that are not allowed to walk to school now in Epping because their parents are fearful of what is going to come their way. That is shameful. It's 2025 in Britain, and we are allowing families to be worried for their children just going to school.
Adam, but what I would say as well, we're no more than 12 months away from people trying to burn down a hotel which housed migrants in this
Well, let me just tell you, that is disgusting.
It's not about trading one thing off against the other. We have to ensure the safeguard of all communities, but also we have to look after the people who have come and are in...
Are you aware that a man has been charged that was living at that hotel for 2 hotel fires, tried to burn them both down? It's alleged, obviously, he's been charged. He hasn't been found guilty yet.
That's not every single person, is it?
Can I ask you, Samuel?
Yeah.
Why do you think the government and the state isn't telling communities these hotels are popping up?
It's a very good question. But what I would say, I think...
Any idea on the answer?
Not really. No, I think it's a tinderbox of an issue. You know, it's incredibly divisive. You know, there are people who, frankly, do not want people to come to this country at all, even if they're fleeing poverty, prosecution, and war. And there are people on the other side who believe that, in fact, we should be supporting, as a developed nation, we should be supporting.
Would you agree? Would you agree it potentially creates more concern and tinderbox atmospheres when you just install these hotels into communities, hundreds of strange people installed into communities without... Would you agree that creates even more concern and worry amongst Brits?
I think there's the tendency for that to happen when you have people who are going to agitate and are willing to stir up those tensions. I'm not saying that's everybody who has concerns, because there are, of course, legitimate concerns. But what I would say is we need to watch out for people who do have an agenda and are happy to push that agenda, and that's what led us to those riots last year. And I think that that's something that needs to be wholly avoided. And I can see the very tough situation that councils and the government do put themselves in. And I do obviously sympathise with people who do not feel safe in their communities now. But I think that the government and councils have a responsibility to ensure the safety of all people in their communities, whether they be full-time residents or whether they be living in a hotel.
I mean, they keep on putting up these hotels without telling people in the most ludicrous places. So, I mean, Adams mentioned the Epping one is near a school.
Yeah.
Altrincham in Manchester, that was opened up right by both a primary school and an all-girls school. And then I had a mother from Rotherham tell me that they opened up about 6 to 8 migrant hotels there in a community where girls are terrified enough because of the grooming gangs to walk the streets, and they put one right by a school. Why do they keep putting them by schools? Do you think if it's at least they should tell us if they're going to put it near a school? Surely they should be consulting parents.
Look,
completely unacceptable for them not to do so.
And this is why I believe that there needs to be more care taken by councils and the government to integrate people properly and allowing people to work and not just be stuck pinned down in communities.
What war are they fleeing from in Pakistan? Could you tell me?
There's instability in Pakistan.
Instability is not the British taxpayers' problem. Why should we pay for them to come here because they don't like where they live, or they want more money, or they want a house?
That case, still no. I mean, there's incredibly repressive regimes and governments and militias.
So should we take everyone around the world, the millions around there that are not liking where they live?
What's happening, though, is it?
Well,
there is a refugee crisis.
They will come to the country that gives them the most, and that is us.
The sad reality is that there are millions and millions, if not billions, of people in this world that live in A, extreme poverty, and B, very dangerous countries. And I hate to break it to you, but we cannot save all of them. We can't take the whole world into Britain. It's not the solution, and especially when that comes at the cost of our safety and a huge bill for the taxpayer, it's just not viable.